So if you're looking for like a definitive cultural a shortcut, really, to understand the stories that have shaped TV for the last 30 years or so,
Right.
there's really only one question that matters. What are the absolute 10 greatest TV series of all time? We all have our own list, of course, but, you know, personal taste only gets you so far.
And that's exactly where we come in. For this deep dive, we're looking at the consensus top 10.
Yeah.
This isn't just one critic's opinion or, what's trending this week. We've pulled together massive sources, IMDb's, user data, Rolling Stone's expert polls, all of it, to see where critical acclaim really meets viewer engagement as of late 2025.
And our mission today is super clear. We are not just going to read you a list. We're getting into the why, the actual source-based justification for why these specific 10 shows earned their untouchable status.
And understanding this list, it gives you a kind of cultural fluency. These shows didn't just tell good stories. They actually redefined what the medium could do. They're the benchmark for writing, for production, and for just enduring popularity.
Okay, so let's get into this list. And right off the bat, the data shows something huge. The top 3 shows are all high-stakes dramas. And more than that, they're all in the crime or systemic drama genre.
Absolutely.
That basically confirms that these really complex, character-driven stories about moral decay, they've been the engine driving what we call prestige TV.
That's it. When you look at the absolute peak of television, it's about depth. And these 3, they set the standard.
Taking the #1 spot, and it's pretty much uncontested, is Breaking Bad, which ran from 2008 to 2013.
The masterpiece.
Right. Everyone knows the basic story. Walter White, chemistry teacher, becomes a drug kingpin. But the reason it's #1, according to the sources, is its structural genius. They call it a masterclass in character development and tension.
And that tension is everything. What really sets Breaking Bad apart is its trajectory. I mean, from the very first episode, Walter White is dying. There's a clock on him.
And an end point.
Exactly. The entire series is a pressure cooker. It's not just about high stakes. It's about this fixed timeline, which lets the writing focus so intensely on his moral collapse. It turns suspense into cinematic dread.
And it looked different, too. It was visually revolutionary, that single-camera cinematic style, using the New Mexico landscape. It just elevated TV beyond what the networks were doing.
That's right. It showed that TV could have the scope and the look of a blockbuster movie, but with the time to let a character's transformation feel, earned and excruciating.
Okay, so right behind it at #2 is the show that really started this whole prestige era, The Sopranos, from 1999 to 2007.
The blueprint.
The sources say it revolutionized TV. So how exactly did it do that?
Well, The Sopranos didn't just give us the anti-hero. It introduced vulnerability psychology as the actual backbone of a series.
What?
Before Tony Soprano is in therapy talking about his panic attacks, TV drama was pretty straightforward. This show used its format to do a really deep dive into mob life, sure, but also into family dynamics and psychology. It forced you to sympathize with a monster for, 86 episodes?
And the therapy sessions were the genius device, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's what allowed the show to break out of a linear crime story and, jump into dreams, philosophy, stuff you'd only see in a novel.
Exactly. It proved that television could handle that kind of literary weight. It paved the way for everything that came after. It showed the benefit of long-form TV was the time commitment, which allowed for a psychological realism a movie could never touch.
And rounding out this incredible top 3 is The Wire from 2002 to 2008. So if Breaking Bad is about one man's choices and The Sopranos is about personal trauma, The Wire, it's about the environment itself.
That is a perfect way to put it. The Wire is almost an anomaly on this list because it rejects that tight focus on a single antihero. It's described as a gritty, systemic look at Baltimore's institutions. Each season just moved from the cops and dealers to another failing pillar of the city. The docks, politics, the school system, the media.
The sources call it social commentary unmatched. So if that's true, if it's the deepest, most insightful show about American society, why does it land at #3? Why is it behind 2 more focused character studies?
That's a great question, and it gets at how greatness is measured here. The Wire is very often the critic's #1 pick because of that ambition and realism. But Breaking Bad and The Sopranos just do better on viewer engagement metrics, like on IMDb.
Okay.
Because they have that powerful central anti-hero driving the story. With The Wire, the system is the star, which is brilliant, but it's also a denser, less immediately accessible watch for a mass audience.
So the top 3 dramas all share this focus on deep, nuanced stories about corruption. But the ranking suggests that viewers connect most when that corruption is channeled through one really intense character.
Precisely. Three different blueprints for modern storytelling, but all are these incredibly serious examinations of society.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Moving away from gritty urban drama to shows that defined new production standards and explored power on a much more epic scale. And we have to talk about rank 4, Game of Thrones.
The behemoth.
The massive fantasy drama, 2011 to 2019.
I mean, Game of Thrones changed everything just based on pure scale. It proved you could do cinematic fantasy dragons, huge battles, a global story on a weekly TV budget. The justification is its epic scale, shocking twists, and political intrigue. It didn't just redefine fantasy TV, it reset what audiences expected a TV show could even look like.
And the sources are really clear about this. Its ranking holds up despite the finale debate. That is a huge point.
It is.
It means the show's cultural impact, the quality of its peak seasons, it was all enough to outweigh a conclusion that, well, a lot of people really disliked.
It speaks to the power of those first 6 seasons, which were just masterpieces of world building and complex storytelling. Whatever happened at the end, the show gave us this dark, complicated commentary on power, on politics, on dynastic collapse. It was appointment viewing.
Now let's jump down a bit to another show known for its style, but in a totally different way. Rank 7, Mad Men, 2007 to 2015. So subtle, so quiet, and just gorgeous to look at.
Mad Men is all about meticulous aesthetic and thematic scope. It's this stylish exploration of 1960s advertising, identity, and change. So where The Sopranos used psychology to explore its anti-hero, Mad Men used period detail and visual language to explore this fundamental dissatisfaction inside American corporate life.
And Don Draper is basically a walking identity crisis. The show used the ad industry not just as a setting, but as a lens to critique consumerism and gender roles during the massive social upheaval of the 60s.
And it proved a show doesn't need, shootouts or big twists to be prestige. Its power was all in the implied tension, the subtext.
And then finally, in this group, we have one of the newest shows on the whole list, Rank 9's Succession, a drama comedy that just ended in 2023. This is the newest show to crack the top 10.
Its quick ascent is fascinating. It's defined as a cutthroat media family drama with razor-sharp writing and performances. What makes it instantly legendary is its tonal blend. It takes the cynicism of corporate life and puts it into this almost Shakespearean tragedy structure.
That razor-sharp writing you mentioned, the vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
It invented a whole language of corporate abuse and satire that felt so real but was also hilarious and just deeply sad at the same time.
It proved that those core themes of prestige, drama power, wealth, systemic failure can still be approached with fresh energy and, well, a heavy dose of very dark comedy. So these three, Game of Thrones, Mad Men, and Succession, they show the shift towards cinematic quality and this real curiosity about who holds power in our world.
Absolutely. But, if we're talking greatest, we can't ignore the sheer cultural staying power of humor. So now we're going to shift gears to the cornerstones of comedy and satire.
And the comedies on this list really show how humor, in all its forms, ensemble, satire, it achieves this enduring popularity that can often outlast even the darkest dramas.
Let's start with rank 5, Friends, 1994 to 2004. This is the definition of comfort TV.
It is. Friends perfected the multi-camera sitcom. It's known for its iconic ensemble humor and relatable 90s nostalgia, and the data shows it still draws massive reruns. That replay value is key to its placement.
It sold an ideal version of Friendship, didn't it?
It really did.
Okay, moving to rank 6, which is a total contrast. The Office, the U.S. version, from 2005 to 2013. This show took the comedy form and just twisted it.
The mockumentary format was the brilliance of it. The Office is all about awkward, heartfelt workplace satire. By pretending to be a documentary, the show could have characters give these knowing looks to the camera, creating an intimacy with the viewer. It made the cringe moments land harder, but it also made the heartfelt moments feel more real.
Then we've got rank 8, the original show about nothing that completely changed comedy, Seinfeld, 1989 to 1998.
Seinfeld is pure intellectual comedy. It moved beyond the classic plot punchline structure and just focused on the little things.
The minutia.
Exactly. It brilliantly captured everyday absurdities. Where Friends showed you the friends you wish you had, Seinfeld showed you the annoying people you actually deal with every day.
Right. And finally, at rank 10, we have the cartoon that's older than most of its audience, The Simpsons, running since 1989.
I mean, the longevity is just a statistical marvel. It's the longest-running scripted show. But it's not on the list just for existing. It's here because for decades it has been satirizing American culture with timeless wit. No other show has so consistently used humor to comment on, well, everything.
So if the dramas are about corruption and moral failure, the comedies are about persistent human absurdity. They're less about the system changing and more about the universal truth that people are just inherently flawed and funny.
And that universality is the key, isn't it? The conflicts in The Sopranos are fixed in a specific time, but the awkwardness of Michael Scott or the frustration of Jerry Seinfeld, that's timeless. And that resilience in reruns prove they are just as important to the definition of greatest as any cinematic drama.
Which brings us to the end of what this list really tells us. The top is dominated by character-driven crime dramas, the template set by The Sopranos and perfected by Breaking Bad. But that's balanced by comedies that define whole eras of humor.
And it's important to remember this list is a very specific cultural snapshot. It's critics and viewers combined through late 2025, and it's strictly limited to television series.
That constraint makes the last thought here really compelling. Just look at the range of years. We have shows that started in 1989, Seinfeld and The Simpsons, holding their own against cinematic masterpieces that just ended, like Succession in 2023.
And that raises the ultimate question about what makes TV great. What does it say that shows, which ended decades ago, made with smaller budgets, in standard definition, with network constraints, still rank higher than modern works with unlimited budgets and streaming freedom?
If the 90s shows could build that kind of legacy with so much less, it suggests that raw, revolutionary writing and unforgettable characters are still the ultimate measure of greatness. It makes their legacy even more impressive.
It does.
And that's something profound to think about the next time you decide what classic you're going to binge next.